Brett Ratten, the St Kilda coach, has joined us. We've just got him on the phone. I don't think he could get his FaceTime working. Rats, how are you technologically there, mate?
I think that's probably because of my looks. It won't actually come through. I'll scare all the people on telly. So I think, it's a different environment that what we're dealing with, and there's a lot of people doing it very tough, and we feel for a lot of people in the community. So
what's your setup now? Are you strictly at home? Are you one of the few coming into the club, and how are you communicating, if you are at all, with your players at the moment?
A lot of phone calls. I probably speak to sort of somewhere between 10 and 15 players a day. We have a lot of executive meetings, head of footy or head of departments meetings through, our Skyping and things like that. But I'm not going into work. I'm just at home. So we're just communicating a fair bit by emails, the phone, and also by Skype, and having some meetings around what does it look like going forward and how people are, because 1 minute we're playing at Marvel, and next minute there's assistant coaches and people, doing labouring jobs. So, change very, very quickly.
So with all that happening, as you said, your assistants, I saw the story, Brennan Lade, doing a labouring job, and others looking to fill their time and try and get some money in. Have you turned your attention to footy yet, and what you want the players to do during this period from a footy point of view?
I think first and foremost for the players is to make sure that they're safe and they're with their family, and especially if a lockdown comes, they want to be sort of near their family and their loved ones. So Jack Steele's gone back up to the ACT, Ben Long's in Darwin, Matty Parker's over in WA. So wherever the players want to be, we're happy to accommodate that and assist as much as we can. But really, footy is now secondary to what we've got to go through in the next, whether it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 10 weeks, we're not sure. But our families and loved ones are the most important. And, footy will play out somewhere down the track, but we need to make sure that everyone is safe and sound and, have got the support around them that they need.
Hey, Rats, Derm here.
Hey, Derm.
How you going? Good?
Good, mate.
Excellent. Now, tell us, we don't want to know names, obviously, but have any players, we were talking about the Paul Marsh before and the agreement they reached, have any players, to your knowledge, actually sought out the club and say, hey, I need a bit of assistance here, I've got this and this and this, and family members and the likes and all those types of things? Like everybody in society, has anybody reached out and said, I need a bit of help here?
Not at the moment, mate. I think the conversations I've had with players and that is about if they need any assistance or they want some questions asked or they need support, please call, myself, David Rath, Simon Lethlean, Tony Brown. We've got great people at our football club, and if we can come up with the answers and support them, we'll do everything that we can to do that. So we've sort of just opened up the line of communication because everybody's situation is different. Some have got big families, small families, some live locally, some live interstate. It just looks different for everyone. So, and even their financial situation as well. So we're just, if we can do everything that we can to help our people, and whether they're at our footy club or at another club, we just need to help everyone that's been affected because we need to get through this.
I'm led to believe the millions of dollars that was spent on Linton Street and the refurbishment and the construction, I'm led to believe that gymnasium now is literally a shell. It's all gone. It's gone with the players.
It has. There's nothing much. We get the WhatsApp group and the players have got the weights in the background and doing things. I think the first week of sort of an isolation situation where they're not at the club, I think the banter's really good. But I think, when we get to week 3, 4 and 5, it'll come, the realisation that we're not going back for a while and, the fun and banter might stop a bit. And that's the thing that we need to make sure that we maintain is our connection with our people and make sure everything's right. But there's not one skerrick of equipment left in the gym, I don't think. I had my knee done on Tuesday night again, so I'm laid up. Well, I don't need any equipment. But, the players have taken everything that's not bolted down, I think.
Rats, when the players eventually come back and we may have a compressed season, games every 5-6 days for each team, how long do you think it'd take to make sure the players are safe to play and that their body, I know it's going to go through some deconditioning now, to get them up to scratch again? Is that a 4-week, 6-week process? How long?
probably somewhere in that block, King. I'm not 100% sure, and I think some individuals will be better placed than others because of ability to. Maybe myself, if I was in this scenario, putting on body weight and skin folds would be very high, so that might not have helped me. But some players will put on weight, some players won't. Some players will have more access to certain things. So I think it's nearly individual case by case, but I think somewhere in that 4 to 6 weeks is about the right time.
Who's in your worried book?
I think they're all in our worry book, Derm.
I mean, for the weight aspect, it might come home a little portly.
Probably myself, Derm. That's probably number one on that list. I think the players know which blokes have to be really mindful, and they have different skill sets in other areas, and some players put on weight a bit quicker, and they're pretty mindful about trying to push the kitchen table back a little bit if they can.
We spoke to Adam Simpson last week, and he was of the belief that it's more about education. Some of these young guys really don't understand what they're doing with their bodies just yet. They've only had the one pre-season. Yep. They've only been at the club for 6 months, and some of those guys are doing different programs anyway. So it's more about education than the other. How are you ensuring that they're following a program? I mean, I know you're talking on WhatsApp groups and those sorts of things. Do they have to perform physical testing at some point?
Yeah, there's daily routine, and they send information in around their program. They've taken programs away with them. That gets monitored and changed within a few days if they need to. There's constant communication, and I suppose the video evidence and what players are doing is probably the best thing that we can do. But this is the hardest bit about we're trying to trust the players to get themselves in a good spot to come back. But some players might need the first week to maybe just process it all, King. It might not be so much about how much activity they're doing, as long as they're ticking their legs over and not just sitting on the couch. But some might need the chance to check off on family and make phone calls, so they might not be quite as busy as some of the other boys that actually have everything in place and they know where everyone is and they feel a bit safer. So for some, their programs might really kick in. We sort of said there's about a 5-day cooling down period for all the players, and from there on they need to start to ramp it up a fair bit. So some players would have jumped into that straight away, and some would have taken their time depending on their situation and where they were travelling as well.
Rats, Mark Robinson here. I want to ask you a really serious question that's away from footy.
Yep.
Are you scared at the moment?
I'm scared for people, because not just the coronavirus, but the mental health stuff that's out there as well, and people have worked so hard to get their careers, businesses, own their homes, or buy a home. And this is not just about footy. This is about the whole community, and all the things that they've done are maybe taken away from them because of a situation, not because of their performance or what they've done in life. It's just because of circumstance, and that's pretty tough to swallow. And I think for people, the coronavirus is not going to be great, but the mental strain and the financial strain it's going to put on people is going to be enormous, and that's the concerning part. And just cross our fingers that we can manage it and deal with it as a state or as a nation as well. So even globally, it will be big for everyone.
I don't know if your parents are alive or not, but if they are, just a fella our age, you're the same age as myself and Dermot, and we're all a bit older than Kingy. I mean, what are you saying to your parents?
I had a chat to Mum and Dad the other day and just explained to them that for their best interest, they shouldn't see anyone. None of the kids, to try and use modern technology with FaceTime and things there, a conversation by phone call. But, Dad's 70, Mum's 60, Mum now 67, something like that, 66. So, they're getting into that age bracket that becomes more dangerous. And I think if we can just limit the contact, and we haven't seen them for a week, and we might not see them for another few months, but if it keeps them safe and isolated, that's the main thing, and that's all we want out of this.
What are you doing at your place, Brett, apart from talking to players and that sort of stuff on the work front? How's things in your joint?
I've just got to get over this knee, and I'm a landscape gardener by trade, so I've got a lot of work to do, and my wife is trying to push me out as quickly as possible, but I can just walk at the moment. So I said it might be just a bit quick to push me out into, digging holes and stuff like that. But, we're trying to renovate. We waited 2 years to get our permits through, and they've only just got through. So I think everything's just going to stop, which is the least of our worries. And, we'll just potter at home and be with the kids. And it might give everyone a different perspective on life in regards to what's important to them as well, moving forward. Maybe more's not better. Maybe just the simple things of life and the quality of time spending with people might be something that we get out of this. It's not going to be a great situation we're in, but there'll be some things that come out which people will change their lives forever and the way they approach things, I think.
You're in Lilydale, aren't you, Rats?
I'm Croydon North.
Croydon North. I'm just in Warrandyte. So when you get your knee right, mate, drop around. I've got a,
Isolate, Mark.
I'll be inside and Rats will be. I'll be inside and Rats will be outside doing the garden.
Gloves. Bring your own gloves, Rats, if you can.
Rats,
Fair enough.
do you get the feeling that your wife's happy that you're home more than what you have been, or not?
I don't.
Zardo's isn't.
She's actually taken my daughter. She's got a horse, so she's adjusted up the road. So they've taken her up there, but she's happy to get out of the house away from me, I think, to be honest. But we're on 1,500 square metres, and I don't know if there's enough land for me for kids at the moment to hide.
Hey, were you laughing so much when you watched the replay of the round one loss?
I just finished that game yesterday, and I think post the game, it was unbelievable to feel that the disappointment and probably the domination of probably virtually after about 7 minutes of the first quarter, right through to about halfway through the third. We should have been 8 to 10 goals up, but give North a lot of credit for the way they just fought and they just hang in there. But to hit the post 4 times and out in the full 5 or something, it was just wasteful footy. And just to think that we just squandered those opportunities. And it's going to be, I suppose, we haven't got a chance to fight back and play next week, but that was very, very disappointing the way we went about it. And, we should have been enough in front to, put the game away, and we're not. And full credit to them. They just found a way and they dug in. And so, I've spoken to a few players and wish they could play this week to, redeem themselves, but that's just where we're at. And I think within the 12 hours after the game, it was like, that's 4 points, we've lost it, but this is going to be bigger than any of all that, just one game of footy.
Because of the abnormal times, you haven't had a real chance to tell the St Kilda supporters why the change came. We heard then that your synopsis was that you didn't put the game away. What changed in the game that you could not halt or reverse?
I thought towards, there was probably, they kicked 4 goals in nearly 5 minutes of footy towards the end of the third quarter, and it was some of our poor errors, and they just won contest after contest, probably 3 or 4 in a row that were quite critical, and they made us pay and kick some goals which were, around corners and things like that where we were missing ones in front. But then in the last quarter, that was a bit that probably, we gave up the lead at 3-quarter time to only be 3 points. But the last quarter, a bit of some of our transition stuff I've already mentioned to the boys, and we'll address that. But, we just didn't quite dig in where we should have, I thought. That's something going forward, and we've had a few chats one-on-one, but we'll really address that and make sure as a team in 2020 when we get back, that's going to be very consistent in our game and not be as spasmodic as what it was in the second half on last weekend.
There's so many things that go into, a team reversing their fortunes in the moment, on the day. I thought one of the aspects was that the kid Simpkin stepped through the traffic of stoppage a little easy.
Yeah, there was one in our forward 50 and he balked 2 and then found a target. We gave them too much transition space in the second half, and they were allowed to use their feet, and the pressure that we had in the first half sort of fell away, and to their credit, they maintained that, and I thought they worked really well offensively and defensively in the second half, and I thought we were a bit too much offence and not enough defence in our game. So they didn't kick a heap of scores in the second half, but, when you're kicking 2 goals to 1, that was enough to win the game. We were really disappointed that our second half let us down.
Rats, do you think that, big picture, looking forward a little bit, do you think that there'll be less tactics in the game if we get back to football in the back half of this year and even looking forward to next year and beyond? Do you think that there'll be a tactical reduction?
Depends, King. Depending what the interchange looks like, I think, mate. Are we going to get to the 4 interchange and you got 2 subs? I wouldn't know what it's going to look like, depending on the size of list and things like that. But if you can inject a speed player, a tall, or these things as a sub, that can change the balance of your team and really stretch opposition teams. So I think depending on what the AFL go with going forward, I think there'll still be some tactical advantages for some teams and the way they use players. But, you had to look at the rotations. We had less game time and we couldn't even still get to 90 most of the teams, and then there was injuries for teams and things like that as well. So, I think when we're sort of, that 90 in rotations, it'll be very hard to surpass that, I reckon, going forward, and because the games are less, and that means you've got less men on the field if you're trying to rotate too much. So it is interesting, but it depends what they do with the interchange and do they allow subs? What are the list sizes? Those questions need to be answered before I think the tactical side of it will come in or go out of the game.
Well, there's a lot of time ahead for everyone to think about all those different things. Brett, really appreciate your time. Good luck with your individual recovery on the couch and for your wife. And thanks for being with us this afternoon.
No worries, boys, and thanks for having us. And just, I know we're in a tough situation, but, please keep your families nice and safe and look after yourselves.
Good stuff.
Cheers, Rats.
Brett Ratten, St Kilda coach, joining us.